I have not looked up the Merriam-Webster definition of entrepreneurship, but I'd be willing to bet that next to it, somewhere in the little italics, it says synonymous with stress, because entrepreneurship is stressful.
I don't know what advice to truly give others that are having issues related to their startup, other than saying, like, you know, there's things you can control and there's things you can't control. Focus on the things you can control and let the stuff you can't control be water under the bridge. The more time you spend hanging on to that stuff, the more it's going to drag you down. Catch and release.
My best tips, my best advice for founders and business owners around mental health would be get someone to help you outside your business, a therapist, someone that can talk to you without judging, without an opinion that has no bias. If you can't find that in your own life, pay for it. Okay? And then number 2 would be like that other cliche saying that's like rest but don't quit. It's okay to rest. Rest. You need rest, you need sleep, but I don't even mean that by rest. I just mean like take it easy, take a deep breath, get out in nature, find the things that inspire you, go do those things again, get around people that make you forget about how much work you have to do. Find those people, hold on to them. They're going to be your lifeline.
Best piece of advice for mental health for entrepreneurs is know when to shut it off. And that means everything. Shut your phone off, shut your emails off, shut your conversations about work and the startup and all of that. Shut that off when you get in the door, when you walk home. And you will be more mentally healthy. You got to know when to turn it on and when to shut it off. And a lot of times that space allows you to work through some of the thoughts. And it gives your brain time to rest. And take a shower, because a lot of good thoughts and good ideas come when you're showering. But make sure you shut it off when you walk in that door.
If you're an entrepreneur dealing with mental health issues and you're struggling with your own well-being because you're an entrepreneur, I remember a story that I heard. Guy goes to the doctor, says, "Doc, it hurts when I push right here." And the doc says, "Well, stop pushing." Really easy. If you're stressed out, stop. You need to make a drastic change in your life. Stop doing the thing that stresses you out, because you will burn out and then you will crash and it'll be all over. So take a break. It's okay. Tomorrow the sun will rise. You can go ahead and try it out tomorrow again. But if you're stressed out today, stop.
So I got a list of questions to answer for this episode. And one of them was related to impression management. I didn't know what impression management was until I read the description. Impression management is apparently when you're concerned about always giving the impression that things are going well. Look, I'm all for positive problem-solving attitudes. At the same time, as I've gotten older and become more experienced as being an entrepreneur, I find that transparency and letting people know where they stand goes a really long way when it comes to getting stuff done. How can people help you solve problems if they don't know they exist because you're always giving the impression that there aren't problems? I mean, fuck. I'll be the first person to tell you when you walk through the door at 9, we got a whole day's worth of problems to solve, so we better get to work. Let's go.
Impression management. Now, this is a funny one because this is what I would consider more like imposter syndrome. I think this is the root of imposter syndrome, to be honest. We post everything on social media like it's all perfect and glamorous. What I found from posting stuff on social and talking about things on the podcast, when we talk about those vulnerabilities, that's actually when we make the biggest connection.
I have had so many people tell me that, well, Lauren, if you're going to expect to get funded, if you are going to find the right kind of partners, then you can't share everything. Like you can't be totally transparent with them, because that's going to be perceived as weakness, and they're going to think that, you can't handle the job. And here's the deal. I think I agree with that, like that much. There are certainly certain things about myself and certain things, like the way that I feel things, that I'm not going to say in front of certain people. Meh. We're just going to go ahead and call that a filter. But I don't know if I want to work with people that don't understand, or don't want to understand, that what we're doing is hard, and that we have some pretty severe limitations. We have a lot of issues around limited resources and limited time and limited funds. And if I can't talk to people about that and be very real about that, then I can't get help for that.
I've never heard of the word impression management before, but I understand what it means. It's the feeling you need to tell everyone that, oh, everything's great, and yeah, we're right on track and all that. I don't do that in any part of my life. I'm very honest with the people that I meet. In my opinion, you're lying to yourself if you think you need to tell everyone that everything's going great, because if it's not, it'll show.
You can call it impression management. I mean, it kind of feels like lying or being inauthentic to me. So I tell who I need to tell where I'm at when things are good or bad, so that they can help me carry that emotional stress. So I might tell like the immediate leaders in my company, like I'm fully transparent about what's going on. If we need to keep clients because our money's tight or I can't spend on those things, like I'm very transparent. So I guess what I'm saying is, in some ways I don't hide that much. That's a blessing and a curse. But in other ways, like the way that I do that, where I'm truly authentic to myself, as far as like not being around the employees, like when you're pissed off. As the boss, if I'm stressed out, if I'm pissed off, if I have an attitude, maybe I slept wrong or my girlfriend's breaking up with me, and I come into the office and I'm just like firing off emails, I'm short-tempered, I'm stressed out. It's my job as a leader to not put on a mask, but essentially leave like personal stuff at home, be here, show up, be everything I can be for the team that needs me, because my job is to serve them, and I truly believe that.
Prioritizing my team's health and the people around me, that's been always number one. I'm very much a people pleaser, and I want to make sure that people are taken care of.
I am concerned with the health and the mental health of our employees, and that's why I tell my employees, you do what you need to do. Like if you need a week off to do nothing or to go on vacation or do whatever you need to do, if you just need a personal day, you don't need to explain it to me. Just take the day. Let me know you're not going to be here. That would be helpful. But do what you need to do. You're not going to be fired for not coming to work as long as you let me know, and you don't have to tell me the reason.
The level of uncertainty that came with all the COVID stuff also made a lot of people antsy about whether they were going to have a job and how are things going to go. Am I going to get sick? There was a million different things that occurred, and at our company, we wanted to make sure that we did what we could to reach out and just kind of keep people engaged.
There's this saying out there that a happy employee is a productive employee. And I believe that. I think that if you make sure that your team feels valued, there is nothing that they wouldn't do for you. It's crucial. You have to do that. You have to make sure that your employees feel valued and balanced, and that they, take care of themselves, because if they don't, you're going to see burnout, you're going to see high turnover, and nobody wants to deal with those things. Like, it affects your bottom line, but first and foremost, you don't want to do that to people. Just create a space and create an environment where your employees feel safe.
Let's talk about uncertainty. That's the hardest thing in life and in business. Like, I can deal with anything if I know what's going to happen, but it's hard not knowing. So uncertainty definitely is the worst thing, I think, if you're a business owner. If you know you're going bankrupt, hey, you can move on and you can go do the next thing. You can do the steps you need to do. But if you don't know and you're waiting in limbo, that's the worst.
Some of the best entrepreneurs, some of the best ideas, and some of the most promising companies, they crater. It just happens sometimes. When it comes to uncertainty, it's a built-in with entrepreneurship. There is no certain anything. If you are not good at dealing with that, you're going to struggle.
Uncertainty plays a role in my mental health for sure, but I do a whole lot of things that give me the ability to make decisions. So because knowing that like indecisiveness is enough to cripple you, make a decision. You have to just make a decision, so you can't be uncertain. Just make a move. And if you feel at peace about it after you've made that move, you probably made the right one.
I handle the stress of entrepreneurship and being a startup founder a lot of times with music. I listen to music almost all day. I love going and seeing music. And there's just something about it that either locks me in to what I'm doing or often makes me just go.
I see a therapist every week. And as an entrepreneur, I haven't always had health insurance or these types of things to do it. So it's definitely out of pocket. The way I was raised, we just prayed about things. And I think that sometimes there's things that someone needs to use somebody else to be able to speak into your life. And so for me, a therapist is next to God.
So I don't really know that you actually can combat the stress of startup life completely, but there are definitely some things that you can do. If I were able, I would definitely, I think, see a therapist on a pretty regular basis. As it stands, I do see a coach, somebody who has actually volunteered their time to help me work through things. I talk to my mentors on a regular basis. I unload on my poor partner, and poor guy, like real. He's absolutely amazing. I talk to him a lot. I talk to friends. I make sure that I am creating boundaries and creating space for self-care. Combating stress, you're never going to do away with the stress completely, but finding the methods and the tools that can help you to move past it, to productively deal with that is absolutely crucial.
How do you combat stress? I don't have the answer for everybody, but for me, I take it on head on. Now, I don't know if I'm in tune to know where my stress level is. I know that when my body is tired, I go to bed, and that could be at 8 o'clock at night. It could be at 10 o'clock at night. I know at 4:20 when my alarm goes off, I get up and I start doing things. So I'm in tune with my body. My mental state, I don't know.
I don't see a therapist on a regular basis, but for me, I find that talking to people and talking things out is what really helps me mentally. Just explaining my situation or complaining about something to somebody else is helpful for me. So on a regular basis, while I'm driving around or whatever I'm doing, I will call a friend or my brother or a coworker or my college roommate and just, tell them what's going on, complain a little bit or a lot, and then somehow, I'm not sure how it works, but that makes me feel a lot better to know someone else knows and maybe they understand and are a little sympathetic, to my situation.
I'd say that if you're an entrepreneur struggling with kind of mental health and balance, is you need to talk to someone, whether it's a mentor or a close friend or a family member. Don't isolate yourself, thinking that no one knows what's going on with you. Eliminate the fact that you're an entrepreneur and just talk with someone about, hey, I'm struggling with something, can you lend me an ear? Can you give me some advice? Have you ever gone through this before? And just start talking to the people that you love and that love you about what you're struggling with. And that's the best place to start.
Everybody has issues. No one is absent of having some sort of stress in their lives, some sort of hurt, some sort of regret that they're dealing with. Everyone has issues. You're not alone. So it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's okay to look back on your past and reflect on what you could have, should have, would have done. There's nothing you can do about the things in the past. The only thing you can control is right now. So if you need that break, take that break. If you're ready to get back to work, get back to work. Live in the present, plan for the future, learn from your past. That's all I know.